Hello, 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 everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I hope you can hear me. I don't know if there's a way to, I can't see the comments yet. Oh, yeah, I can see it now. Welcome. I see people joining. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, my name is Olufolake Ayeyemi, and I'm the founder of the Bloom and Flourish Hub. Welcome. Thanks for joining. You're most welcome. This is the Bloom and Flourish Live. And if you're new here, the Bloom and Flourish Hub is a safe space created specially for women aged 30 and above, just to support and encourage and empower us through different seasons of our lives. We believe at the Bloom and Flourish Hub that no matter where we are, we can bloom and flourish as we grow. So this afternoon or evening, depending on what time it is where you are, I have a special guest who will be talking to us on the subject of the mind. My special guest is Ade. Ade is God's prototype who embodies his joy. Ade is a leader, she's an influencer, she's a visionary, she's a community builder. I've known Ade for, I want to say 6 years. She can confirm that when she comes on the stage, and she has been such a blessing to me. She has helped me a lot with my mindset and just building new habits consistent with the growth that I am looking forward to experiencing. There is so much about Ade that I'm sure that as we listen to her this afternoon, we'll be able to um, pick out more than one or two things, because she's such a powerhouse, and she's very, very experienced in empowering people. She's a problem solver. She's a catalyst for change. She's just an all-round amazing, amazing person. So I'm not going to keep us for too long. I'm going to bring Ade up. But before I do that, if you know anyone that will benefit from joining us live, please let them know that we are live and send them the link. Share this link as far and as wide as possible, and let's all bloom and flourish together on this session. Thank you. I see all your comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so, so much. So without further ado, I am going to bring to the stage Ade. Hello, Ade. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so, so much for being here. I really do appreciate your time. The time difference is on another level. I don't even know what time it is where you are. But I appreciate that you have carved out the time to be with us here it's afternoon here. I'm sure it's morning where you are. I will stop talking and I will let you introduce yourself to our lovely audience. Oh, I can't hear you. Yeah, I could hear you before, but I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Apologies.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, sis, for having me here. It's a privilege to be here and to chat with you and, on this amazing platform. I love what you're doing. I've not been able to get on any of the live sessions, but I know the spirit behind Bloom and Flourish, and I know that God is doing amazing things with what you're doing. So thank you for having me. I see a lot of people on the call. The Bella Soros, Queen Esther. How are you, Queen Esther? Hi, everyone. My name is Adejoke Oyinbo, and it's morning here. I'm joining live from Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you for joining. So tell us a little bit about Ade. Who is Ade?
Mm, that's a good question. Well, I wear many hats. And when you wear many hats, when people ask you to introduce yourself, you kind of freeze out. I'm like, okay, well, which what am I supposed to
Where do I
say in
start?
in this situation? So first and foremost, I'm a child of God. I think that is one thing that is constant.
Mhm.
I'm a beloved daughter of the Most High God. I am His delight. I am His prototype. When you
Mm.
see me, you see Jesus. So I'm a child
Yeah.
of God. That's one thing that is constant. And the second thing is that I'm a wife to an amazing man, a man that allows me to fly, and I'm a mother to an amazing daughter. Um, Beyond that, I'm currently a language coach. So I teach people French language. And I'm also a psychologist in training. So I'm currently studying psychology. And my aim is to be able to become a clinical psychologist and,
Wow.
do this work the right way, helping people and helping people to get results. Apart from that, I also have a 9 to 5. I'm a sales professional. I'm a minister. I work in the prayer ministry as an intercessor. I also work with growing leadership and personal development within the confines of the church. Yeah, that's me.
Wow, that's a lot. And I know that's just a fraction of what you do. Like you've cut that really short.
Yeah, it's a fraction because if I now begin to add being a certified facilitator of the super working mom, being a member of the John Maxwell team,
Wow,
I
honestly.
don't even know. I don't even know where to.
Wow, so good, so good. Amazing, amazing. And I should actually have started with a little bit of my French to show off a little bit and let you know that I've been watching and learning from all your YouTube videos and all the cuckoo and bonjour, all the things you teach us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Amazing. You're so versatile. Like, yeah, you're so versatile. And I think that's why, that's why working with you has been quite for me fascinating because I see you and I see all the things that you're doing, so many things that you're doing, but yet there's still this calmness about you. Like nobody would know how busy you are from just looking at you. And I want to kind of link that to the topic of today, which is about the mindset and how, before you can get to this level of being able to do all these many things and not burn out and not crash out, you have to have the right mindset. You have to have the right mind, your mind space. And I have worked with you, I've done some of your courses, and I know, the things that you teach about being in the right mindset, and how powerful the mind is and how important it is. And that's why I'm thinking it's important for us as women to have this conversation openly, to talk about the mind. Why is this, mental wellness, why is it so important? Why is it such a question or a conversation that we need to talk about right now?
Thank you. And before I go on, I'm seeing Coach Datola on the chat. Hi, Coach.
Welcome, coach.
Good to have you. And thanks for joining. Well, yeah, good question. Why mental health? Apologies to those who are not Christians, but I know that our community of people are people that are God chasers. So I would freely share with God. And if you're watching this replay and you do not believe in God, it's okay. Just have an open mind because whatever I share, I believe will be helpful.
Mm,
Um, why mindset? The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. Out of it flows the issues of life. Everything comes from the mind. Before you, a very good example is before you say something, sometimes we don't think about the things we say. So let's not even
mm,
go there. But before you react or think or something, it goes through the mind. The
yeah,
mind feels like the source, just like the Bible says, is the source of where everything is coming from.
mm,
And when we do not take care of the mind, other places begin to fall apart. It's just like the best way to put it is the core of our being, the
mm,
essence of who we are. And so when the core is not well, it's only a matter of time before you see it on the body. Like if I'm not
mm,
happy, you'll see it on my face. But the unhappiness is not on my face, it's actually something within me
mm,
that is being projected on the outside. And that's why if we have to bloom and flourish, if we have to thrive in the things we do, we need to begin to take our mental health seriously, need to take our mind seriously.
mm. Thank you so much. If we want to bloom and flourish, we have to take our mental health seriously. I feel like that's something I need to put like on the plaque,
It
on the,
rhymes.
that, like that's like a very wonderful line there. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And as you were talking, I was just thinking, as women, we do really want to bloom and flourish.
Mm.
But until we have that right mindset, until we have, our mind is in the right space, we can't. What are the things that are in the way of us as women? And we wear so many hats, we do so many things, but why is it difficult for us as women sometimes to get to that space, or to get to that level where we have the right mindset, which is the foundation of all these things that you've been talking about?
Basically, why women? The first thing is that we are wired differently.
Mm,
Women are wired differently. And when I say we are wired differently, it means that our biology puts us in a place where we need to take our mental health seriously. And
mm,
just to break that down, we go through menstrual cycle, we go through hormonal changes every month,
mm,
we have children, and all of those things, they cause physiological changes in our body.
mm.
And so that alone is stress within your body. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
The second thing for women is that social roles. We have social role that, especially for those of us from Africa and some other Western or Asian culture, where they believe that the women are supposed to act in a certain way.
Mm,
The women are supposed to be the one taking care of the house. The women are supposed to be the one quiet in the house, putting everything together when it is falling apart. So those social roles, they place a weight on women
mm,
that we're not careful, we're not able to, manage it properly. So I've talked
mm.
about our biology, I've talked about
Yeah.
social roles. Another thing is life in general. So daily hassles. You want to become successful, you want to go to work, there's traffic, you're bringing up a child, you're married, your relationship with your friends, even if you're not married, daily hassles. You want to
Mm,
make it in life, work, relationships, every other thing. It causes stress. The environment itself is stressful. We want to keep up with pace.
mm,
Those are fundamental things that affect us as women. But there are
mm,
other things that we add to it ourselves, which
mm,
is our self-concept. When I talk about self-concept, is what you think of yourself,
mm,
the ideas you have about yourself. So as women, because of some of these biology or social roles or things that are expected of us, we think we need to act in a certain way. And when we even see other women acting differently, we are the first ones to attack them. That why should not behaving
mm,
like a woman?
mm.
So sometimes this pressure is just from the things we are placing on ourselves. And sometimes it's about, oh, I want to be like so, 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 and so. There's comparison. So
Yeah.
comparison as well puts us under stress. And then sometimes life just happens. Even your health can fall apart and then you just have a lot
Mm,
of issues. So, in a nutshell, our biology, the way we are wired, the way we're created, social roles, the expectation of the society from us, and the things they
mm.
believe we should be doing. Sometimes the expectations we have of ourselves, or the way we think about ourselves, which is our self-concept, what you think, who you think you are, what you think you should be doing, and then social comparison, where we're comparing ourselves to other people.
Wow. You're so right. There's so much expectation of us as women. There's so much, whether we put it on ourselves or it's been put on us, or that's when you're just born into something being done a certain way, and you just think that's how it's always been done. Let me just, go with the flow. One way or another, there's just so much pressure on us as women to,
Mm.
be all of these things, and just almost roll with the Joneses sometimes without paying particular attention. So I like what you said about being self-aware. Knowing and understanding yourself is a good first step. Thank you so much for that. Before we go ahead, I want to let everyone know, thank you once again for being here. If you have any questions for Coach Ade, please put them in the chat. We'll pick them up as we go along. Any comments, if anything resonates with you, please also put your comments in the chat, and we'll pick them up as we go along. So, just going back to, the last question that you answered, and I'm just thinking, all of these things that you talked about, we are just taught to just get on with it. Like, it's the way it is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You're a woman. This is what is expected of you. but then our mental health, our mind, our wellness suffers. What are the signs? How would a woman, you know, what would make a woman know? Or not even just a woman, maybe a man, anyone around a woman, or a woman, looking at another woman. What are the signs that will make you know that the wellness is, there's a gap, like the woman is suffering, for lack of a better word, mentally, or struggling, or stretching, or overstretching themselves? Are there any signs
Mm.
that would like call our attention to us needing to do something about that?
A lot of signs, a
Mm,
lot, a lot. The first sign is from your body.
mm,
There's this joke they say in my family that your body will tell you.
mm.
You will feel it in your
Yeah,
body. So it starts with you being tired. You just feel tired.
yeah.
It could start with a slight headache. It could start with you not having zeal or passion to do the things you used to like to do.
Mm,
You lose enthusiasm over the things you like to do. You're no longer excited. Or it could even start as you being hungry. You're just angry for no reason.
mm,
And as women, especially if you have kids or people around you, you begin to get cranky, you get irritated. So your level of tolerance is depleted, it
mm.
reduces. So
Yeah.
once your level of tolerance is reducing and you're beginning to snap, you're beginning to get angry, you're beginning to feel somehow, it's a sign that something is wrong. It might
Mm,
not necessarily be a mental health issue, but it's a
mm.
sign that you're under some kind of stress or the other.
Yeah. Mm,
Sometimes it could be you being numb. You're numb to emotions. Things that would definitely make you happy. You're like, okay, we've done
mm,
that. Let's move on. What's the next thing? You're not like you maybe you've been praying for a job, you get a job, and you're not as excited as you would
mm.
be.
Yeah.
So your emotions are not where they used to be. All of
Mm,
this is telling you something is not going on. It could also be that in relationships, people you like to spend time with, you start losing interest.
mm.
Not, it might not necessarily be about those people. It means that within you something is going wrong.
Yeah.
So just to summarize, because when we talk we say a lot of things just to make the points clear.
Mm,
When we begin to see signs of tiredness, frustration, irritation, numbness, even sometimes headache, it could even be stomach ache,
mm.
pay attention to those things and
Yeah.
ask yourself. It could also be a loss of sleep. You're not sleeping like you used to,
Mm, yeah.
or you're overly worried. So when we begin to see those things, it will be necessary for us to begin to ask ourselves the question, what's going on with me?
Mm,
And then
yeah.
find the roots.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it just goes back to what you said at the beginning about just knowing, understanding yourself. That's the first step. You have to understand and know yourself. Because when those signs, all of those signs that you've just stated, and maybe a few others, start to show up, then you know that there's something not right, because I'm not normally like this. I don't normally snap like this, or I
Mhm.
sleep better than this,
Yeah.
or I'm not always angry. It feels like I'm always angry these days. Like, what's happening? And then we start to pick up those signs and do something about it. So we've talked about the signs, we've talked about the struggles, but what are the practical steps that women can take to prioritize their wellness, their mental health, without feeling, because there's this other side of it where women feel guilty for putting, women, we don't really put ourselves at the front. We sort everyone else out, and then we leave ourselves till the last. So what are the practical things that we can do as women to prioritize our wellness without feeling bad about it?
Thank you. There are a lot of practical things, and some of the things I would share would not work for everybody. You just need
Mm-hmm.
to know what works for you.
Yeah.
The first thing I would always go back to is know yourself, because when you know yourself, you would know what you're going through and what would work for you. The first one is take off the pressure.
Mm,
We need to, as women, the truth is that the society has expectations of us. And in a way, if you're married, you have kids, you have to just align. You fall in line, whether you like it or not, you just have to fall in line.
yeah.
But first and foremost, take off the pressure, because if you can't play God. And I think that's where a lot of we women we And when I say we women, is because I also have my own moments as well. I'm not there yet. I'm a work in progress. We want to be there for our kids. We want to be sure they are safe. If you're not there, they will be safe. If you're not there, they will live their lives. Take off the pressure without relegating your responsibility.
Yeah.
The second thing is start with God. Start with God. Because I will go back to the scripture I opened with. Guard your heart with all diligence. Out of it flows the issues of life. The mere fact that we interact with other people, it means that there will be conflict, there will be friction, there will be things that would go well, things that would not go well. Asking yourself, what is the state of my heart? It's a very simple thing and a very uncommon thing we would do. We won't sit down and say, okay, what's wrong with my heart? Like when you begin to notice that you're snapping, you're irritated, you're frustrated, you're angry, ask yourself, oh, what is going on? That simple question will lead you to an exploration of what is going on with you. I've said, take off the pressure, guard your heart like God said, asking that question. The next thing would be know your limits. We all have limits.
Yeah.
If you keep doing everything you're doing, one day, may we not break down and fall like a pack of cards. Because we all have limits. God is not limited. God is infinite. And if you want to play God, if you want to do everything, you have to know your limits. Knowing your limits is being true to yourself and saying, oh, this is who I am. So for some of the things I do, some people can't do it. And if you want to now do it, they get into trouble. And there's some things other people will find easy to do that I cannot do. So knowing our limits would help. Then cultivating habits that help us live a stressless life. Things like your health is very important. Eat well. If you're not eating the right food, your body would not have the right energy and fuel to fuel you, to carry you.
Yeah.
Take care of your diet. You see all this processed food we eat. Sorry, this is not a nutrition class, but we need to take off because these are some of the things that are affecting us as women. Clean your diet. If you want to cheat, is okay. Sometimes we grew up liking some of these sweet things. It's okay, but make sure that at least 80% of the time you're eating the right thing. If you can take it to a ladder or a level higher, do 90%. Clean up your diet, move your body, do exercise. There's something about exercise. Exercise helps the brain, it helps the body, it helps the mind. Do exercise. And one thing I have recently fallen in love with is meditation. In the case of meditation, you can do your meditation in different ways. You can do your meditation to talk to God, but you can also do your meditation for your mental health, sitting there and saying, okay, what is going on with me? And then I will just sit there, look at I feel tired. Why am I tired? And then I begin to uncover the things that are affecting me. And then from there, I can make resolutions on what to do, on how to do, and where to do. And, that really helps. Another thing is don't do life alone. I know that for women, it's like saying things that we already know. We don't like doing our lives alone already. Maybe if I was talking to men, maybe it would sound better, but we shouldn't do life alone. But what I've also seen with women is that even though we are in communities, we actually do not have heart-to-heart discussions. We could discuss on a surface level, but there are some deep things we don't talk about. Having said that, don't ignore your feelings. You see our emotions, like in church on Sunday, it's funny we're talking about emotional health in this season, and there was a wheel about emotions. There are over 50 kinds of emotions. So when you look at the wheel of emotions, do not ignore your emotions, because your emotions are an indicator to something. So for instance, let me give a very, very, very simple expression. So let's assume that I meet Ulufolake and I say, hi, Folake, how are you? And then she's like, oh, I'm fine. The first thing that will come through my mind is, why is she responding that way? I will think about it in my mind. And then from that, why is she responding that way? I can have a million interpretation of it. And from my interpretation, I would have a million reaction about it. So one interpretation could be, I'm sure she's tired. Let me disturb her and ask what's going on with her. That's how she's always doing. That's a second interpretation will be last week I greeted her. She did the same thing. Is she's trying to snub me? And then if
Hmm.
you go along that path of she's trying to snub me, you begin to get angry. You might
Hmm.
not even show it that day. The next time you greet her, and so there's something in psychology that is called confirmation bias. So when you expect someone to behave in a certain way, and you would always be looking out to confirm that thing.
Hmm.
So if you think, oh, because I greeted Olufoka, she answered in a particular way, she's snubbing me. The next time you're greeting her, what you're actually expecting is for her to snub you so that you can confirm that preconception you have about her.
So true.
So our emotions have a lot of information. If we sit down to uncover them, they would let you know how you're really doing. Because before you even fall sick, there's something in your mind, there's something in your body that would have given you a sign. And paying attention to that will go a long way in, helping you get better or knowing what to do.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, that is that the richness in what you just shared is something to sit with for like a whole day and just chew on it, all of those points. And I'm so glad that Queen Esther is doing a good job of capturing all of that in the comments. So it's easy for us all to go back and just copy and paste from that. So thank you so much. And yeah, I was going to even ask, everyone, is this resonating? But I'm so glad that everyone is sharing in the comment how much this is resonating. So thank you so much for sharing. The Bellas, your host, says, I think knowing and understanding yourself is really key. The more you know, the easier you can identify slip ups. And
Absolutely.
that's like what you've been saying all day. Like we have to be a self-awareness, self-mastery, all of these things that you teach us is very, very important, because how do we know when something is broken if we don't know how it works in the first place? So it's very, very important for us to know ourselves. And Queen Nesta is asking if the wheel of emotions can be shared. I think we can find a way of sharing
Mhm.
that after the session. I also, incidentally, yesterday I was in a training and that same wheel, which started with like 5 emotions that we normally have and then breaks up to like God knows how many. I was like, what?
I didn't even know there was a difference between. So I can't recall, but there was the one under happy. You could be excited. You could be, I don't know. It
Yeah,
was just too much.
exactly. Angry as well. They just spread it to
Yeah,
so
there are different
many.
types of story, and
Yeah,
because we do not have enough knowledge, we think everything is angry.
yeah.
Sometimes you're not even angry, you're frustrated. The
You're
frustration is
exactly.
different from anger.
Yeah, yeah,
Disappointment is different from anger.
yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
lot.
Absolutely. And another thing I think that came up in that training yesterday is how we also, and it's like what you said earlier, how we name other people's emotions because we think we know from looking at them how they're feeling. So for instance, the example you gave about, when somebody says hello to you and you say hello to someone and they respond a certain way, you immediately name that expression as if you know, but
So if I could
you
just
don't.
jump on that, the reason
Yeah.
for that is that we actually attribute other people's behavior in a certain way and then
Mm,
attribute our own behavior in another certain way. So, for instance, if using the same example,
yeah.
instead of me thinking Olufolake might not be in a good mood, something might be going
Mm,
on, I'll say
yeah.
she's a snob. I
Yeah.
immediately label that a
Yeah.
snob. But if I now behave the same way, then I'm like, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just angry.
Yeah. So true. So true. And it's important, I think, also when we think about, because talking about wellness is beyond ourselves, it's also how we support other people or, help other people around us. We have to be, as much as we want to be aware of ourselves, we also have to be aware or pay attention to how we interact with other people's emotions and
Mm,
how we give, especially for some of us who are like, we have influence on other people and people maybe come to us for help and support. We have to be very mindful how we name and interpret other people's emotions, because that can make the difference between people getting the right support or not, or even
mhm.
for their own personal wellness. I think that's really important as well.
Another
Yeah.
point to add to that is that we don't
Yeah.
even know those emotions. So we're
Mm.
only doing our best to take a guess.
Yeah.
I think
Mm.
being aware and knowing the emotions would, It starts with us.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you now understand, okay, there's a difference between being angry and frustrated and disappointed. So when you see people, you and they behave in a certain way, you can be more gracious towards them and say,
Mm,
maybe I think she's angry, or maybe she's frustrated or something
yeah.
like that.
Mm. So true. So true. Thank you so much. Yeah, so powerful. Yeah, thank you everyone for being there. Please put your questions, your comments, anything that resonates with you. Please keep putting it in the chat and we'll pick them up as we go. I want to veer off a little bit. I know when
Mm,
when you answered the last question, you spoke a little bit about habits, and
mm,
I'm going to come to that in a minute. I'm going to park that to one side. But I
mm,
wanted us to talk about, because I think recently one thing that has been key on my mind, especially as I go through my own growth journey, is leaving a legacy. And by that meaning that everything we're learning, we have a responsibility of passing this on to the next generation. So all of these things we're doing, is all well and good that we're learning these things, we're being more self-aware. But if nobody is teaching the next generation, then there's going to be a deficit, there's going to be a gap um, in their own learning, and things that they could have learned from us teaching them, they would have missed out, if that makes sense. So I
mhm,
wanted us to talk a little bit about, and this, I mean, everyone will agree with me that it's such a hot topic. Mental wellness in young people is such a hot topic at the moment, and if we're not careful, it's almost going out of hand.
mm,
You hear different things about different young people every day in terms of how young people are struggling with their mental health. So what do you think, or why do you think it just feels like when we were younger, it was not like this? So
mm.
why do you think there is such a rise in mental health struggles or mental wellness struggles in young people in this generation?
Yeah, good question. Good question. The Let me put it this way: the devil they're facing now is different from the devil we faced growing up.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, some of these things we didn't know. We're not exposed to them.
Yeah.
So there's been an increase in knowledge, and the challenge about the more sometimes the things you don't know. They say ignorance can be, what's the word?
Bliss.
Yeah, can be bliss. So we were living in ignorance, and
Mhm.
we enjoyed it. To an extent, it worked.
Mhm.
We cannot deny the side effects as well. We have negative consequences of living in ignorance, right?
Mhm.
But the kids we have today, they were born in a world with too much information
Mhm.
at their fingertips.
Yeah.
For kids, I would say the things they are consuming is the major challenge they're facing. And when I talk
Mhm.
about consumption, I'm not talking about just social media, because
Mhm.
we're very easily prone to say it's the internet. No, the
Mhm.
environment itself. You go out, you see people do a lot of things, and all this information is coming to them through their eyes, through their ears, through their mouth. The TV is there, the internet is
Mhm.
there. So there's so much stimulation of their
Yeah.
brain.
Mhm.
And when the brain is too stimulated, it can lead to stress, especially
Mhm.
because they are young. An adult can filter out things that are not necessary. Like you can filter it out. Like, so for instance, when I'm scrolling on social media and I see something, I know what to pay attention to. I know what to
Mhm.
pay attention to.
Yeah.
But if you have a kid on social media, for instance, and there's a way the algorithm brings things to them, they are just curious. They were just like, okay, what
Yeah.
are they
Mhm.
doing? I need to see.
Mhm.
Forgetting that the more they consume those things, it's settling somewhere within them.
Mhm.
And then all of that begins to stimulate them. So the first thing I'll say is overstimulation and too much information is one of the
Mhm.
reasons they're suffering through that. Secondly, they don't have enough support,
Mhm.
because those of us that are supposed to be supporting them, we didn't go through the world they went through, they are going
Yeah.
through.
True.
So we are trying, at best, we are trying our best. So I wouldn't say we're not doing anything.
Mhm.
I would say we're trying. We don't know what it means to be in their shoes. That's the truth.
Mhm.
We can only imagine. So when you tell your child, or I say, oh, I know what it means to be a teenager. You don't, because you're not a teenager in the world they're in. You
True.
can only imagine.
Mm.
A very good example, growing up, I could go out to play and my parents will not be afraid that I'll be kidnapped.
Mm. Yeah.
Even today, when you go to the mall with your kids, you're not, you're afraid. Like,
Yeah.
I always tell my daughter, don't walk behind me, don't walk by my side. Let me see you in front, hold me, you know, and all of those things, they don't understand.
Mm.
The other day, we were watching CNN, and my daughter was like, why is there war everywhere?
Mm.
We didn't know what was war. We didn't understand. And to create a balance, some children actually knew what was during our own time because they had it
Mm.
in their own. But for some of us,
Yeah.
it's not a reality we can
Mm.
actually
Yeah.
relate to. So at our best, we're only doing our best. We don't know what
Mm.
to live in their world.
So true. Yeah.
And that's why it feels like we think they are rebellious. We think
Mm.
they don't understand. I think we need to do more of understanding. We need to be more curious to understand them and say, okay, how would I imagine if my brain
Mm.
was not formed? One of the differences between an adult and a younger child is that you have um, a developed executive control. So
Mm.
there's what we call the prefrontal cortex that allows you to make decisions. You're not going to
Yeah.
be impulsive. You think before you take an action. But for
Mm-hmm.
kids, it's still under development.
Yeah.
And so they don't know what they tell you they know because they'll say they are smarter than you. But really, they don't know. So they just
Mm.
consume, consume, consume. So is this
Yeah.
overstimulation and us not having the right approach? Because a lot of times it's try and error. Even in research, it's let's see this if it would work. Let's try that.
Mm.
Maybe perhaps when they are now growing up and they understand what it means to live in their own world, maybe
Mm.
better tools or resources to be able to understand their world. But really,
Mm.
it's a combination of the information that is available, the stimulation
Yeah.
of their brain senses and their other senses, as well as not getting adequate support from the adults around them.
Mm. Yeah. So true. It's a learning curve for us. Like you said, we can only we can't really relate to the world that they live in because we didn't live in this world when we were teenagers. So it's a learning journey for us as much as it is for them. So many times we're almost just trying our hardest, but we're not sometimes not empowered enough
Mm,
to support them properly,
mm.
which is, it's quite scary because we are the ones responsible for them. So if we're not, so my question from that, and that links into Queen Esther's question in the chat, is how can we as parents empower ourselves to be able to support our children? Because sometimes we think there's a common thing that we, especially those of us from our kind of background, is that when I was young, this is what my mom would have done, or this is what, which does not work now. If you do that now, they might just nod and go away, but they will still go and do whatever it is they want to do. So those strategies that were used that maybe worked for us, maybe not, but they don't work now. That's just the thing. So how can we as parents help our children and build, help them to have that inner strength so that they will not, by the time they get to our age, they will not be suffering mentally?
Good question. Thank you. The first thing is the Bible says, teach your child the way of the Lord.
Mm.
Because I there's this joke I say with my husband. These children don't have manual. God should have just put a manual alongside when he was
That would have
bringing
been
them.
easy. Yeah, that would have been
There's
easy.
no manual. So the first step is, as believers, you need to commit your kids to the Lord and you need to teach them about the way of the Lord because
Mm.
God knows the way He has created them. He
Yeah.
knew what they would go through before they came to the world. So
Mm.
that would allow them to have a conscience that listens to the Holy Spirit. And so
Mm.
while they are doing those things, there will be something telling them in their mind, no, don't do that. No.
Mm. Yeah.
So once you can have that step done, every other thing can now build on it. And the first thing is being curious.
Mm.
You need to learn about them.
Mm.
Enough of us saying, oh, these children, like, I am so guilty. Like, I am a no nonsense person. But right now, I take nonsense.
Yeah, wow.
Because I've been tested. And I'm being serious because I remember that one of the reasons I left teaching was because I couldn't stand a lot of
Mm,
all those things. But I'm learning
yeah,
now that okay, I have a child now. I cannot leave my child as the way I left teaching. So I'm learning
mm,
now that you just have to be curious. You have to learn about them.
yeah,
And learning about them could mean looking for resources to help yourself to
mm,
become a better parent, to avoid overstimulation for them. Like,
mm,
what are the things they're watching, the things they're consuming? What do they watch? The things they hear, the conversations they hear. The could be on TV, it could be with friends, the places they
mm,
go. We need to be able to help them to create a filter around themselves and choose what they need to consume.
yeah,
And
mm,
that would only come if we are curious enough and we've learned how to pass that information to them. Because once we get to that point where we pass the information to them, even when they see those things, they ignore.
mm,
Because there's so little you can do when they are with you. What if when they go to school, you're not there with
yeah,
them? When they're with
mm,
their peers, you're not there with them. So you don't want
mm,
them to be dependent on you, but you want to be able to equip them. And equipping would only come if you understand what their challenges are and you
yeah,
have the right tools to help them. So that way, us being curious, learning about those things, and then empowering them will help them to
mm,
use some of the things that they're consuming, or even just filter it out and say, this is what I want to consume.
mm,
The next thing would be to have real conversations with them, especially if they're teenagers.
mm,
Let them know how to process their emotions.
yeah,
I'm so guilty of something like when my daughter is crying, I'll say, crying is not a language.
mm,
But I'm learning to say, okay, what are you crying about?
mm,
How does that make you feel?
yeah,
Name your emotions. Okay, so let's talk about it. And then processing that emotion. And that's where emotional intelligence comes. As parents, I think
mm,
that we also need it ourselves because children
mm,
can actually they can make you go nuts. I'm sorry to say that, but really they can do things that would really make you go nuts. So, but if we are not managing our own emotions, and takes me to the next point, is modeling.
yeah,
Let them see that life has a way of affecting your mental health.
mm,
But you do not stop there. There are things you can do to help you. Let them see you pray. Let them see you eat right. Let them see you exercise. Let them see you meditate.
yeah,
Let them see you cry and get out of crying and laugh.
mm,
And then they can
yeah,
ask you, Mommy, you were crying. How did you get out of it so
yeah,
fast? If
mm,
we're not curious and we're not ready to just understand their world, we will not be able to meet them at their level. Because
mm,
most times we're expecting them to come to meet us where we are. Like
yeah,
you're having a conversation with your child, you should know my expectations. Why don't you
mm,
just put expectations aside and then meet the child at this level and say, okay,
mhm,
this is where you're at. How can we now build up from there? And that will
yeah,
take a lot of humility. It will take a lot of prayers. It will take a lot of learning and unlearning, and it's a lot of work on our part.
mm, yeah. So true. There's a lot there. There's a I don't even know which one to pick up. But it's just so powerful, and I like what Queen Esther said that don't shut them up. Sometimes when they ask us questions as well, we're like, what I'm the adult here, like we feel like we know, but like you're saying, we don't really know. We need to have these conversations. We need to come down to their level or up to their level. I don't know, however it applies, and listen to them. You're so right when you said, when children cry, like cry, your crying doesn't mean anything to me. That's what I say to the girls sometimes. Your crying doesn't mean anything to me. But sometimes it's good to kind of unpick it because they say behavior is communication. Why? Sometimes you have children that are, they cry a lot, but why? It's good to help them unpick that emotion and help them deal with it now so that it doesn't become something, way bigger when they're older. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just really
Sorry,
powerful.
sorry to interrupt. I think another
Yeah.
reason we avoid hard questions is because we don't have answers, and we're not humble enough to tell them we don't have answers. I
Yeah.
remember one day my daughter was like, "Mommy, why is this?" Especially, so she asked me, "Is Jesus a man or a woman?" And I went numb. I was like, "Okay, it's
Mm.
not a man, it's not a woman, it's a spirit." We're like, "So why are we talking to a spirit?"
Ah, okay.
And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have time. We'll talk about it another day." Sometimes we don't have the answers, and sometimes
Mm.
when I tell her I don't know, you say, "But you are mommy. Why don't you know?" My teacher knows everything more than you. I say, your teacher is smarter. That's why.
Okay.
So we need to also empower ourselves to know because we
Mm.
don't have all the answers.
Yeah, so true. And I think one thing we do, well, certainly a few years ago, I kind of caught myself, and I'm trying not to do it so much, is how we intervene or interfere in social situations that our children find themselves in. So we're so quick because we don't want them to fail, we don't want them to fall, we don't want them to miss a step. We're so quick to jump in that sometimes we don't even allow them to reason through situations. And so they're not building that emotional resilience because
Mm.
they don't have those skills. They are not in situations, if I certainly can think back to situations when I was younger where, you know, my children would not be able to survive those kind of things now, because it's that we have everything is there. You do everything for them, you buy everything, like you hardly say no. Even if you say no, then you go round and round, and it's different.
Or they
So
blackmail you for saying no.
they're so clever as well. So not being able to deal with those social situations, I think sometimes it can be a deficit, because those things sometimes, as much as it felt like suffering or sometimes feels like suffering, it builds inner strength. And we have to, as parents, allow them sometimes. Just let them sort it out somehow. Maybe be in the corner, or maybe not. Maybe look away. I don't know. What do you have to say about that? Like, I feel like we interfere too much sometimes.
Yeah, so we interfere because of our maternal instincts, which
Mm,
is natural. Like it's just like you see a child falling. So I'll give an example. So I tell my daughter, don't jump on the bed. The bed is
mm,
not a bouncing castle or something.
mm.
And then one day I told her, get something in the room. She went on the bed. Whoop, whoop. The next thing, she somersaulted and landed on the floor.
Ooh,
Because I wasn't there, if I were there, I would have, intervened and catch her from falling. But she fell. She couldn't walk. Like she could not stand up. She was like, "Mommy, I can't walk again." I was like, "Good for
yeah.
you. I hope you learned your lesson." But it's just maternal instinct that when they go through things like that, we step
Mm,
in.
yeah.
But we need to catch ourselves and say,
Mm,
can if my stepping in will stop this child from learning a good thing about life, then take a back seat. But
mm,
if it's going to harm the child, then you need to step in. So it
mm.
takes practice. I think,
Yeah.
like I said, we also need to extend some grace to ourselves because
Yeah.
we can only give what we have.
Yeah.
Is what our parents passed to us, we're passing down, but we can do differently. And in doing
Mm,
differently, it also means that we'll make mistakes. It will be trial and error until we get it right. So
mm,
it's the maternal instinct that want us to help them, but sometimes just let them make their own decisions. And then sometimes it's challenging if you're not on the same page with your spouse about some of those
mm.
things. So,
Yeah.
for instance, I would tell a very good example could be I tell my daughter, okay, today go and pick your clothes. I'm not picking your clothes for you. She's just 7. I'll say, go and pick your clothes. I want to see what you pick. And my spouse will say, oh no, why is she picking her clothes? She wouldn't know what to wear. I'm like, let her do it. That's the only way she would learn. So that's
Mm,
a very simple example, but
yeah.
sometimes there are, deeper situations where we differ on the way things need to be handled.
Mm,
And that way, we're not allowing these children make the best of the learning opportunities that come to them.
yeah. Mm. So true. So true. Thank you so much. There's a question. What can one do when your son is always crying when he talks or when talking? Yeah.
When it talks. So the first thing is you don't have conversation with him when he's crying. Tell him to, if he wants to cry, oh, it's okay to cry. Please cry.
Mm,
When you're done crying, when you're ready, let's have a conversation. That way, he knows that you cannot be crying and talking because
mm,
you won't be able to pass your information
yeah.
across properly. Um, when he's crying, give him a hug, pat him, say, okay, I don't want to have this conversation now. I want you to be done crying. I want you to feel better, and then we can talk about it.
Mm,
He will rebel, but with time, consistency would allow him learn that if you
yeah.
want to have a conversation, have a conversation. If you want to cry, cry.
Mm,
Crying
yeah.
helps them.
Isn't that what they say? Yeah. Yeah, but it's so true, because if you keep talking to him when he's crying, then that will be his way of communicating, because he knows once I start crying, my mom will talk to me.
And then
So
sometimes
yeah,
that cry is blackmail. Like
yes,
I have a
you're
drama
very
queen in my
smart.
house. I have a
Uh-uh.
drama queen in my house. You know that when you start crying, right? Mommy's heart will melt. I'll say, crying doesn't kill. It strengthens the lungs.
It's good for the lungs. Wow, thank you so much. Wow, the time is really flying and we're going to begin to wrap this up. But thank you so much, Ade. This has been so good. And thank you for everyone for being there. I'm sure, I mean, from the chat, I can see that this is resonating with you one way or another, and you're learning one or two things. I want us to kind of tie this up with the final two questions that I have. And the first one is about habits. So, earlier you spoke about, doing the habits that we need for wellness. So you talked about food, you talked about exercise, you talked about meditation, you
Mm.
talked about different things, a long list of things that Queen Esther has kindly stated.
God.
Um, and I know that habits are easier said than done. We can say all of these things, but we all know that on paper, as much as we want to, we don't. How can we begin to, do you have like any tips for us to begin to um, bring these habits to life? Whether it's one at a time or, however it applies to us, what key advice would you give to us about habits and how to change our old ways, things that we've done for 40 years of our lives? Yeah, now suddenly saying no, we have to change this. It can be tough, but what tips would you have for us in that sense?
Start small.
Mm,
I tell people if you're not running, make sure you're walking.
yeah.
You're not walking, make sure you're crawling. Just to
Mm,
ensure that you're moving. So start
yeah.
small.
Mm,
I think we need to move from consumers to
mm,
executors. Like you don't just come to this kind of programs or you take training and everything. I tell myself, Ade, if you acted on everything you have learned, your life will be better than this.
well,
Let us take one step. And I am trying. I'm trying. I'm not there yet. When I take a program now, I ask myself, what is one step I can
mm,
implement from what I've learned today going forward?
mm,
At least for the next 30 to 90 days, I want to be consistent on that. Once you have that done, move to the next thing.
mm,
But what usually happens is that we come for training, including me, and then we let it go.
yeah.
Is it your eating habit you want to start with? Or just asking yourself, what's going on within me?
Mm,
Or meditation, or just
mm,
praying, even just chatting with people. And when people ask you, how are you? If they are good friends, you tell them exactly how you are. You're
mm,
vulnerable enough to share so that you can
yeah.
take that off your chest. So
Mm,
let's start small.
yeah.
Whatever works for you, you only know where you're currently at, your current journey, your status, your situation. Some things will work for some people. For
Mm,
instance, you have 4 or 5 kids at home. I don't know how you want to do meditation when everybody's looking for your attention, except when they're in school. So you need to know what works for you and
yeah.
start
Mm,
from there and build gradually up to it. If you Especially if there's anyone having a lot of health challenges, it could also be it could just be from your mental health, because
mm,
sometimes this can come as physical pain in the body.
yeah. Yeah.
You could start with taking care of their heart. Are you
Mm,
angry? Is there bitterness? It's sometimes unforgiveness,
yeah. Mm,
resentment. You've lost excitement. You're
mm,
not happy. You need to deal with those things. After
mm,
dealing with them, just take a step, whatever works for
mm,
you, and then build up on that, because
mm,
you know yourself.
yeah.
And so I remember telling someone on Sunday that I wish I could read minds. Nobody can read our minds. So we
Mm-mm.
need to start from where we think would be most
Yeah.
beneficial to us and what would align with our current circumstances.
Yeah. So true. So true. Queen Esther says not saying it is well when you know it's not well. That's
We Christianize everything. And
it is well. Oh.
then we say it is well, it is well.
It is yeah, and that goes to what I was thinking about when you were talking is getting help. There's so many people around us that can help us. first of all, we need to find the right, because sometimes some of us were in the wrong, we're surrounded by the wrong people, like the people that wouldn't really help. But we need to be in the community of people that can help, so that when we're struggling, we know who to go to, who to speak to, who can support us, because support is available for all those, long list of things, for exercise, for food, all of those things. There are people around that can help. And sometimes we might need a little bit of help to get us on the right track. So,
And if I could
like you
add to
said,
that, we need to be vulnerable enough to receive help.
yes, yeah,
There's
yeah,
something that is
yeah.
different when you need help and you're willing to accept help.
Mm,
I say sometimes, especially we women with our kids, they want your help, but they don't really want your help.
mm,
So
yeah,
we have to be vulnerable enough to know that we need help.
yeah, yeah,
And then when you know you need help, be willing to accept the help.
yeah.
Because a lot of what we see today is not like, it's not a problem of community that we have. It's a problem of
Mm,
connection. A lot of people are in community and they are not connected. A lot of people are in
mm,
community. You see a lot of people have friends, but they don't have
mm,
friends, if you get what I mean. Like they
yeah.
don't have someone they can call when they really get into trouble. They don't. So
Mm,
it's not about being in community. It's about having that connection to know that, okay, when I'm in this state of mind, this is a person I want to talk to, and
yeah.
being willing to share with that person without being ashamed to talk about it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. That's a mic drop moment. Connection and community. Because sometimes you can be surrounded by, like, have so many people at your proximity, but there's no connection. So when you're suffering or when you're struggling, all those plenty of people around you, you can't even reach out to any one of them to say, can you help? That's,
And
yeah,
it's very bad with women community. I'm sorry to say this,
yeah,
I'm a woman, but because we're always afraid of, oh, maybe they would make jest of me, they would talk
yeah,
about me,
mm,
or I don't want to be laughed at. I'm
yeah,
not saying we should share with everybody, but you should have people in your circle that you can
yeah,
share with. And if you don't have, I think it's a good prayer point to start with.
mm,
Because
yeah,
there was a point in my life I realized that really I have a lot of people, but I don't know who I can call and say, I just want to rant. I just want to cry.
mm,
I have my spouse, but sometimes I just don't want to talk to my spouse.
yeah,
And
mm,
I looked at all my list and I didn't find any. In
mm,
fact, in February, I had a meltdown where I felt like this is beyond me. And I said, okay, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? I didn't have anybody. I just called my youngest sister, at least. This is my blood. And I was just crying on the phone.
mm,
And it just dawned on me that we can be surrounded and still be lonely.
mm. Wow. That's the key. Yeah. Hmm. There's nothing to add to that one. I think it's something for all of us to go and digest and
Mm.
try and make amends where necessary, because that's really not good enough. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been so great. I'm sure everyone is learning and we're going away with many things. And in a minute, I'm going to ask everyone in the chat. Actually, you can start putting it in the chat, because Adri said a minute ago, after every session, it's nice for us to say, after today, this is one thing that I would do differently, because this hour cannot be like, it won't be a waste. It shouldn't be a waste. One thing that you are going to do differently as a result of this hour that you have invested in yourself today and learned a lot from Coach Adi. Oh, thank you, Ayotomide. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so one thing that you're going to do differently, you can please put in the chat as we begin to round this up. So Ade, my final question for you is, if you could leave our audience with one, like, I don't like to use final word, but you know what I mean, like,
I know.
to kind of summarize everything that we've been talking about, what will that be, please?
That would be that when the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, guard it.
Mm, yeah.
Guard it, because relationships don't go bad overnight.
Mm,
People don't fall sick overnight.
yeah.
People don't go into depression overnight.
Mm,
It's from, if you begin to guard, you know what it means to guard something? It means that you're on the lookout
Hmm.
You become a security that is on the lookout for
Yes.
anything and everything that could undermine your heart. So
Hmm.
my the word I'll leave us with is that we need to guard our hearts, pay
Hmm.
attention to what is going,
Yeah.
because that's where everything flows from.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Please let's show Ade some appreciation. Thank you so, so much for your time today. We've learned so much. Great thing is that we can go back and watch this as many times as possible. I see people putting in the chat what they've learned, work on my emotions and start small. Absolutely. The Bellas, your host, says so many nuggets tonight. Yep. We can be surrounded and still be lonely. Be intentional about understanding myself. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Ayotomide, thank you. She said she's learned a lot. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. We're going to wrap this up now. And I want to say a big thank you to Ade for your time. We have learned so much from you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And to everyone for joining, thank you. If you are not following or subscribe, what do you do on YouTube? Is this subscribe?
Subscribe
Subscribe.
to our channel and
Please
subscribe.
subscribe.
Hit the
Hit the
subscribe
subscribe
button.
button.
If you're not doing anything from this session, go to the subscribe button now and just click boom. That's all you need to do. So that, and set up
Yes,
the notification so that when the next videos you get notification for them.
absolutely. Thank you so much. And in the coming months, this is like a foundational first few weeks because there's some key issues relating to women that we'll be talking about in the coming months. So please be on the lookout. And I look forward to hanging out with all of you. I'm gonna let everyone go and enjoy the rest of their evening. For you, a day is the rest of your day because your day is
Morning,
kind of
just
just
past
starting.
11 here. Yes.
Ah, wow, okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
This
you.
has been a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for listening in. I'm really grateful and look forward to subsequent sessions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you all
Bye.
later. Bye bye.